In this minute, I'm going to run over here and close this door so it doesn't look quite as dark. I am going to leave off my other light though, because I don't want to disturb people too much who may be trying to sleep. I know it's early in the evening, but still, somebody in my household is trying to sleep. So I'm here tonight to talk about The Masked Singer, Season 6, Episode 3. And I had an epiphany today, figured out who replaced Arnold Schwarzenegger in something, and I'm going to talk about that at the end of this video. So please stay tuned to the end of the video so you can find out who Baby is because of who replaced Arnold Schwarzenegger. Also, please hit the subscribe button, hit like, feel free to comment, tell me who you think people are, and share my videos on your social media, let people know, that I have this channel going and that you like my videos if you do. So anyway, of course, we finally got to meet Group B on last night's episode 3 of Season 6. And the new characters, the ones in Group B, are Queen of Hearts, Mallard, Cupcake, Dalmatian, and Banana Split. And I loved all of these outfits. I would say of these outfits, my least favorite one probably was Queen of Hearts, which was still a really cool outfit, right? And I also thought that she probably did the worst job performing because she started out kind of weak to me. And that she made up for it in her performance. But anyway, I'm sure if you watch the show, you already know probably who got unmasked and who they were. If you have not seen the episode yet, I will be telling that at the very end of my video. So stop watching before that point, but make sure you subscribe before that point. Anyway, so I don't think I wrote down what everyone's saying, but I wrote down what some of them sang this time. Queen of Hearts performed first, and this was the premiere episode for Group B. I believe I've already said that. And I didn't write down a lot of her clues. I was just now rewatching part about her, and I noticed some of the clues that I had not written down, but I may not remember what they are right now. Anyway, the first one that I noticed for her was that the clock was set on 10 o'clock. And it was said that there were several Wizard of Oz clues, and I do believe that there was a golden walkway. There was the Tin Woodman on there, but I'm like, duh, he's like, if I only had a heart, and she's the Queen of Hearts, so, that could just be connecting the heart thing. And there was a spirally type thing that I want to say kind of looked like a clock also, which made me think of Alice in Wonderland. There were several chess pieces. She said that she left home at a very early age, and that was really tough for her. She also said that growing up, there were no wants in her household. And I'm going, why would you leave home early if there were no wants in your household? You know how lucky you were. But anyway, and yeah, they showed a ghost when she said that she left home at an early age. Now that made me think of Jamie Lynn Spears, because she became a mother I don't remember if she was like 16, 17 possibly. She might have already been 18. But anyway, she became a mother and moved out of her parents' home. And I don't recall if she got married, but she lived with her baby's father for a while. So that made me think of Jamie Lynn Spears. And it showed two of them's BFF, and I didn't notice it showing any of the rest of them. But I thought that should be really helpful, but I don't know that it is. But anyway, the picture of her BFF, and this is what cracks me up reading stuff on the internet about trying to find stuff about the clues. It's like fans think that Queen of Hearts is probably Hilary Swank, and I'm like, duh. Like they showed a picture of Queen of Hearts BFF, and the picture was Hilary Swank. So unless she is her own best friend, not that there's anything wrong with that, then she's not Hilary Swank. Now, when I was looking at stuff on the internet, I saw that her and Mariska Hargitay of Law & Order SVU have been real good friends for a couple of years. So I'm like, well, I suppose it could be Mariska Hargitay. I don't really know. I don't know if she can sing or not. Another thought I had on the Hilary Swank deal, seems like at one time I had heard that her and Jennifer Garner were friends. Jennifer Garner can sing. I feel like she may have done a better job, but I feel like the reason that Queen of Hearts started out the way that she did was simply because she was nervous performing, as most of us would be, especially if we're not used to performing. She did say that this is something that she would not normally do, which several of them who are actually singers have said that because they don't normally put on a costume and cover their face and go out and sing or whatever. But yeah, so that's all of the clues that I had for her. What she performed was Born This Way by Lady Gaga. And I was telling my youngest son when I had picked him up from work today that, in my opinion, the first part of that song, she didn't do great on the first part of it, but in my opinion, that must be a hard part of the song for other people to sing. I watched the movie Drag Kids. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It's pretty cool. And one of the kids on there, the first little boy, I believe it is, impersonates Lady Gaga, and he does his own singing. He's like 8, 9 years old, something like that. And he does a real good job. But on that first part of Born This Way, he didn't do real great either. So I'm like, maybe it's just a hard part, for other people to sing. So next to perform was Mallard, who is my favorite from this group. I believe. I'm not. I may change my mind on that. The clues, I caught a whole lot of clues for him. I was like constantly pausing, like, wait, what was that? What was that? What was that? And so the clues that I noticed for him, there was a stagecoach, which automatically made me think, wait, there's a show or a movie called Stagecoach. It was a movie. The original one had John Wayne in it. There was a remake that had the Highwaymen in it. The only one of them, well, if you don't know who the Highwaymen are, they were Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, and Chris Christopherson. And the only one of them that's still alive is Willie Nelson. He's one of the people that I have said I would love to see Willie Nelson on there. No, he wasn't on there. I was going to say, wait, was he on there? Was he the Eagle? No, that was Dr. Drew. Anyway, I would love to see Willie Nelson on there, but I feel like he's one of the people that has a very distinct voice that I would most likely know it was him when he started singing. I wish I had a fan that would blow straight on me because it is so freaking humid in my house. It rained, stormed where I live today, and it's supposed to rain again later, and I am just sweaty. But anyway, yeah. Our room has no windows, no outside doors. Kind of sucks, but anyway. Stop complaining. So yeah, there was the stagecoach. He was drinking tea in the stagecoach, which made me think perhaps he was British, because not that the British are the only ones that drink tea, but they do drink tea. And there was an old timey boot. Jenny, I believe it was like, that's a cowboy boot. That's a cowboy boot. He's a cowboy. And I was like, showed a stagecoach and a Western setting earlier that indicated that he might be a cowboy, but that's not a cowboy boot. That's like an 1800s woman's boot. It's not a cowboy boot. But anyway, she obviously is very fashionable. She doesn't know what cowboy boots look like. But anyway, and he was using a monocle to look at, I think it was the boot. He was using a monocle like the one out of glasses thing on a chain to look at the boot. And these are the things that I used to try and figure out who this person is. And I'm pretty sure that I know who it is, but there are a lot of other people that I want to name because he kind of sort of sounds like he could be some of these people also. But so he said that he had a best-selling book. Actually, I should have looked and saw how well this book did. But he said he had a best-selling book and a platinum album. And they were playing hip-hop music in the background, by the way, whenever this was going on, which made me go, is he a cowboy or is he someone that does hip-hop? Is he someone that does a variety of things? You know what I'm saying? But yes, he said that he had a best-selling book and a platinum album, but that has not always been the case. Like sometimes life was a struggle for him. There was a booth for tickets. He said that he was always hustling, and he was handing out shoestrings next to the ticket booth. He said his first business is selling words, which I thought was very interesting. And he said that he became a human jukebox on the school bus. And then in the background of where like he was at and the bus was and such, I noticed there was a Jules Verne type background, which makes me think of Lemony Snicket and Jim Carrey, but I don't think it's Jim Carrey. It could be though. But anyway, he said, put a quarter in his armpit and then he'll sing for you. And that's when they were playing the hip hop music in the background. And I made a note of that because I was like, well, he could be a hip hop person, could be EminEm. He he has the Hoedown song, which is kind of Western sounding. But anyway, and for his BFF, it showed a picture of Chris Pratt. And I'm like, dude, I should totally know who's best friends with Chris Pratt. Like, it seemed like him and somebody were in a lot of the same movies and stuff. And like there were pictures of him and somebody together all the time. Now I'm trying to think. Dark-haired guy, Paul Rudd. I'm gonna make a note of that. But I don't think it's probably not Paul Rudd, but I feel like he's the one that I'm used to seeing with Chris Pratt, if you know what I mean. And he has been named by the panel on here before. But anyway, so yeah, his BFF, it said, was Chris Pratt. They showed a deer, like a wooden deer. And he said that he sang for quarters on the school bus. And the song that he sang, and sang very well in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinions, was Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy. And now there were things about his performance. It seemed like he might have been slightly older and on occasion actually needed to use the cane that Mallard had, but perhaps not necessarily. And so an older person that his movements on the stage and his voice made me think of was Neal McCoy. If you don't know him, look him up. He's excellent. And when Nick asked him something about being on the show, I don't recall what it was that he asked. He said, I don't normally dress this nice. And he made a comment about it being nice to be able to disguise his face. No, he said, I don't normally dress this nice. But then he indicated that he does normally hide his face. And I was like, maybe someone that plays for a superhero or something. Oh, wait, isn't Paul Rudd Ant-Man? Well, anyway, I'm going to get off on a totally different thing here. But anyway, so the people that I was like, it could possibly be, to me, he does sound a lot like my first thought when I first heard him singing was Luke Bryan. And then I was like, possibly Jason Aldean. But I don't really feel like he is either of those two. And then I was looking into stuff for Neal McCoy, and I did find out that Neal McCoy is performing at Neal McCoy is performing at the Stagecoach Festival, which I believe is in California. And I also saw that Brice is performing there. He's the one that sings I Drive Your Truck and several other really great songs. Then I was like, well, he could possibly be Brice. I could see him being him. There were several other people that were performing at that event, but they were the only two on there that I noted that I felt like it could possibly be. And I was like, that could be what the Stagecoach reference is, right? Which I feel like they remade the Stagecoach. Maybe that stuff I found online said that they remade it in 1968, as I said, with the Highwaymen. And the only one of them that's still alive is Willie Nelson. And then it said something about them remaking it in 1986, but it didn't say anything about who was in it. The original one was in 1939. And so I was like, did they remake it in, like, maybe somebody inverted the 68 and the 86 or something. I don't know. But anyway, and another person, I was trying to think of his name whenever he was performing, and I could not think of his name. I was like, there's another person that he kind of sounds like to me and seems like he's kind of moving like him. And this person had, I believe, a leg injury, perhaps hip and leg injury at one point. And so he does have some trouble walking, and that is Travis Tritt. And I couldn't think of his name to save my life when I was watching the episode. I was like, Oh, maybe it's that one dude, the member of the country club guy. Like, what is his name? Oh my gosh! And I'm gonna be embarrassed if he doesn't sing that. I'm pretty sure he does, but I felt like it could have been him. And like I said, I didn't check to see if this book is a bestseller or either of these books were bestsellers. But Neal McCoy wrote a book called A New Mountain to Climb, and he also wrote a book that is called You Gotta Love That. He has an album, it's called You Gotta Love That, and a song called You Gotta Love That, but he also wrote a book called You Gotta Love That. And both of them are available on Amazon. Um, but it seems like I knew that he wrote the A New Mountain to Climb song, and I don't recall why exactly he stepped away from the music industry. Seems like he got married and started a family or something, and so the book could partly be about that, like his choices to, you know, start a family and focus on family instead of singing. But I also found out concerning Neal McCoy, according to this chick over here who is not always real reliable, she said that he had 40 gold albums, 21 platinum albums, 11 multi platinum albums. And I'm like, oh, how many albums did he actually have? Well, he only actually had 10 albums. So I'm thinking maybe he had 10 or 40 songs that went golden, 21 songs that went platinum, and 11 that went multi platinum. I'm going to pull up some pictures here because I took some screenshots so that I would remember this. So, according to Wikipedia, which we know how reliable is also, um, Neal McCoy had 34 singles. He had 10 studio albums and 2 compilation albums. So, actually, a total of 12 albums. And his albums, no doubt about it, and the album You Gotta Love That are both certified platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America, and his 1996 self-titled album is certified gold. So according to this, he has 2 platinum albums and a gold album, but still he does have that platinum album, which was named, and he did write a book. Not sure if it's a bestseller. I could go ahead and look that up, but actually I'm not going to do that right now. But yes, so I feel like Mallard is very possibly Neal McCoy. I've named him on previous seasons, and he's one of the people that I would love to see on here. He sings the song Happy Man, and that used to be one of my favorite songs. I really, really liked him back in the mid 90s. And so the next performer was Cupcake. And I didn't get near as many clues for him. I don't feel like they showed near as many. And that's something I want to talk about. I was going to say something about that in my description, but I don't necessarily, Anyway, the panel kept referring to Cupcake as her. And one of the clues did reference a female, but I don't feel like it was directed to Cupcake. I'll explain that here in a second. Not that anyone's watching, but anyway. So the clues for Cupcake, they showed a jukebox, and I wrote dinner instead of diner. But he was in a diner, like a truck stop sort of type looking diner, and there was a jukebox. It's kind of a 60s, 70s type looking diner. I wouldn't say it was a 50s looking one. It might have been intended to be, but anyway. There was a bottle of whiskey. There was a wet floor sign. And he said someone he knows got bad news about their health. Okay, so this is what he said, actually. He said, I was supposed to be on here as part of a group, but someone I know got bad news about their health. I'm thinking this is the female that the note was about, was the one that got bad news about her health, right? And he said that food always makes him feel better. who's eating some heart-shaped pancakes, and I'm going, well, maybe it's a chef or something, possibly, and based on his outfit and the size that he could have possibly been before I started comparing where his arms were to where I wanted Will to where Nick's arms were. I was like, maybe he's Cat Williams. Cat Williams is only 5'4". I'm thinking this person is probably at least 5'10", maybe even 6 feet or taller. And because his arms look like they're about even with Nick's arms, but his arms also look like they're severely uncomfortable in the outfit, just my opinion. And so he said he was supposed to be with a group, but now he's all alone. And there was a coffee pot that had water running into it. It didn't actually have water running into it, it didn't actually have coffee running into it. It just had hot water running into it. And that's when they showed the note. There was like a note card thingy that said, "Go get 'em, girl," with an exclamation mark and had XOXO on it. But as I said, he was talking about the person that he knew getting bad news about their health, the person he loves getting bad news about their health. So I feel like the "Go Get 'Em, girl" thing was him telling that to the person that got the bad news. You know what I mean? And I wrote that out. Sounds like a guy. Yet the panel, half of them went with RuPaul, and the other half named females. And I'm like, dude, it's like totally a guy. Has the lowest voice of any character on the show. Why are you naming females? But anyway, I believe it was Robin and Ken, I could be wrong, that went with RuPaul, possibly Robin and Jenny. But I'm like, RuPaul's talking voice is higher than this person's singing voice, and when he sings, his voice is usually slightly higher than when he talks. So no, it's not RuPaul. I was telling my son when I was bringing him home, I have watched so much RuPaul's Drag Race that I honestly feel like if he was on there, he'd open his mouth and I'd be like, that's RuPaul. Maybe that's part of why he has not been on there, but he can sound different, but not that much different, if you know what I'm saying. So anyway, my guesses for Cupcake so far are, like my initial thoughts, I was like, well, he's talking about that he was supposed to come on as part of a sweet group. And so I was like, perhaps Smokey Robinson. Maybe, there was Smokey Robinson in the Miracles. I listened to a little bit of his music. His voice is pretty high. Trying to think what the song was I listened to. I'm not going to be able to think of it. But then I also thought perhaps Lionel Richie. And as I was fixing to listen to his music, I'm like, well, their voices, I'm pretty sure, sound almost exactly alike, which is not true. Lionel Richie's voice is probably a good 5 or 6 octaves lower than Smokey Robinson. So I was like, I guess it could be Lionel Richie. And then I was like, oh, dude, wouldn't it be so cool if Lionel Richie, Luke Bryan, and Katy Perry were all going to come on here together? And then I was like, well, when he said someone he loves, I feel like that would probably be family rather than, they all get along on there and say that they love each other. But I was like, it'd be really cool though if the American Idol coaches were going to be on The Masked Singer, but I feel like they're on different networks. I'm almost certain they are, so I'm not sure that would even be allowed for them to do that. But I do think that possibly Cupcake is Lionel Richie, and he was going to perform with his daughters, Nicole and Sophia Richie, and perhaps one of them fell ill and the other chose to stay and help out with that one, or perhaps his wife fell ill and they decided to help her. I don't really know, but for right now, for Cupcake, I am going with Lionel Richie. There was someone else I was thinking that has a fairly low voice that I decided it might have been, but I couldn't figure out what group they would have possibly been in, and now I can't even think of who it was. Of course, it could be Seth Rogen. His voice would be nice and low, and he could go on there with just about anyone, That's possible. I hope I don't have chili in my teeth. I forgot to check it. Looks like they're not real clean. Anyway, sorry about that. See, that's there. That's just the shadows, I guess, or something. Because it was only that light. But anyway, I probably already woke my son up. And so the next one that performed, and see, he was one of the ones that I didn't write down what he sang. I know it was an older song, and pretty upbeat song, but I can't remember what it was. So the next one that performed was Dalmatian, and this was another one I was pausing, though they didn't show a whole bunch of clues, or maybe they didn't. I just didn't catch them all because that's common for me. But anyway, and they showed a dog house. There was a gym that had a bunch of weights in it. There was the painting Scream, the guy going, and there was a gray cat, a Persian gray cat. There was a trophy, the Masked Singer trophy, and he was talking about how he became obsessed with practicing every day. I wrote very day instead of every day. Oh my word, I must have been tired when I was doing this. Anyway, yeah, he was showing the Masked Singer trophy. He said he became obsessed with practicing every day. He made the big leagues and met one of the biggest players in the game, and then they showed him wearing boxing gloves. So I was like, So is he a boxer, an MMA fighter, maybe a UFC fighter, something along that line? And at this point, I told myself, there was one of the other ones that when he came out, the way he was carrying himself, I was like, hey, maybe this is Usher. I was going to say there's only been, might have been Mallard, but I was like, so if this guy can actually sing, I'm going to say he's Usher, right? If he's not a jock, because the Dalmatian was wearing a football uniform that had the number 1 on it. And I was like, if he can actually sing and therefore is most likely not a jock, some of them have done very well on there, but I'm just going to go ahead and guess Usher, right? And then I was trying to think of who Usher would have considered to be one of the biggest players in the game. But he said that he always felt like an underdog, and there was 2 of those great big, I want to call them yoga balls, they're like workout balls, the great big huge ones. One was red, I believe, and the other one was like an orangish color. He had a frisbee, and he was working the crowd when he was performing. I always make note of that because a lot of the athletes do work the crowd, But so I guess Usher, and then he mentioned again that he always feels like the underdog. So I was like, well, maybe it's Chris Brown. I was telling my son about this, and he was like, yeah, it could be, because we all know, he had a rough time off and on for various reasons. And I believe it was Alan pointed out that his football uniform was the Saints colors, and the 2 giant balls that he was bouncing were UFC colors. So he's like, so maybe it could be an athlete. Maybe it's not a singer. But I still decided to go with Chris Brown. He is the one I had the least guesses for. And for a while I was going, I really don't know who I think it is. He sang a song by Snoop Dogg, but I can't remember what the song was. Part of it was real hip-hoppy, like rap type. And then like toward the end of it, there was a part where he actually sang, and he did a very, very good job of the singing part. And that's when I was like, okay, so yeah, this dude can actually sing. And I will talk a little bit more about that later. First, I'm going to talk about Banana Split, and then I'm going to talk about Baby from Group A. There was a couple of things I was looking up about one of the other people from Group A also, but I'm not going to talk about that right now. I just made some notes on it in my notes, so to speak. So the next one to perform, of course, was Banana Split. And it opened with a country setting, like a little cabin type out in the forest. Well, not really a forest, more of a valley. And there were like piles of leaves, I believe, or something around it. They showed the girl, which was the ice cream. The boy's the banana, the girl's the ice cream. They showed she was cleaning. The clues were mostly for her on this episode, and she did all the singing. He played the piano. Hopefully he sings later on. Wouldn't be the first group that they didn't all sing. right off the bat. So she said she got a job. Well, it showed like a carnival setting, and she said that she got a day job. It showed a medal, like a red, white, and blue ribbon with a medal on it that looked silverish in color. So I was like, she could possibly be an Olympian. I don't know for sure, and I had actually forgotten about that. But yeah, I was like, she could possibly be an Olympian. That's interesting. Or she could have gotten a medal for something else. And she said that she thought she got her big break only to have to go back to her day job. Then she found a collaborator, which is the banana guy, who, by the way, is shorter than her, it appears, but it also appears that she's wearing 4-inch, 4.5-inch heels. So he's not necessarily shorter than her. Um, but when she said the collaboration thing, I was like, who all collaborates? There's a lot of people that collaborate anymore when it comes to singing. And she was talking about she went to Hollywood. She left home to go to Hollywood, is where she got her day job to be able to get by because she wasn't finding an acting job or singing job or anything along that line. And so she said that he shares, or that they share the same dreams. And I made note that he plays the piano. He plays it very well. He was playing, during the song. And then I made note, of course, that she went to Hollywood. And when she was singing, it was somewhere around, I want to say, the third or fourth line of the song. There was a certain transition of notes that she did that made me go, Dido? Dido collaborated with EminEm, but I kind of feel like the song that of hers that was in his song was already kind of a big song when that happened, but I don't know for sure because I never really listened to a whole lot of Dido's music. She is a very good singer, though, and this lady was a good singer. I don't think she was better than Mallard, but she was a good singer. And so I made note, of course, that he didn't sing. And then I was like, he could be Justin Bieber. This was like based on his height, basically, in comparison to her. And I was going, but like, who has Justin Bieber collaborated with? Justin Bieber plays the piano. Justin Timberlake plays the piano. They both collaborate with a lot of people. Usher collaborates with a lot of people. I believe he also plays the piano. I think I made notes of some people in my description thingy that I am probably going to forget that I thought of who do a lot of collaborations. I hadn't really thought about the fact that The Weeknd collaborates, but I also wasn't thinking about the fact that there was that medal, and if she's an Olympian, perhaps she was doing stuff solo and then she chose to do it with him, or maybe she played for someone in a movie or TV show that was in the Olympics or something along that line. I don't know. I don't think they give medals out for singing, but they might at certain things. Again, I don't know. But she said that they don't always work together, but in the past when they have, it's worked out very well. And he said bananas good alone, um, which I don't think was meant to sound cocky. I think it was meant to, bananas are healthy for you. But anyway, at the point, like, Nick was literally giving the panel 15 seconds to name who they thought the people were. And I was like, on most of them, I'm like, Neal McCoy, like 3 seconds. And such as that. But on this one, I was like, I don't know. It's partly highly the fact that there's more than one person, which makes it harder to know. Also, because they said that they don't always sing together, but in the past, when they have, it's worked out well for them. So I ended up deciding that possibly they're Ariana Grande and Justin Bieber, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to get me a drink, but it's like I'm like It will help a lot, in my opinion, if he sings and we can hear his voice and decide perhaps who they possibly are. Um, I don't recall, trying to remember a lot of these people. I don't recall it showing them in their bodysuits. I was watching my grandson again, like I normally do when I'm watching the episodes. He was napping through most of it, is why I could take more notes. And then part of it, I think he woke up around the time that, oh no, actually he wasn't sleeping for most of it because he woke up and Mallard was on there and he turned his head toward the TV and went, like, what is that guy doing? And then he was just like grinning and watching it, of course, um, because as always, it's a great show. But Banana Split is the one that has me confused, as I'm sure they do most people. Though there could be some people that are a fan of her that are like, ooh, I know who that is and I know who she collaborated with, and just automatically know it. So now, Baby. I'm not going to tell you who got revealed yet or who they turned out to be. Um, Baby had said in his clues, there was the Transformers type scene, like the obviously pure action scene that had a Mustang in it and a helicopter, and that's the part that just seemed that made me go The Rock. So I wrote The Rock with a question mark. He failed driver's ed because he was driving too fast, and he said that he once replaced Arnold Schwarzenegger in a movie. And I'm like, Transformers, RoboCop. There was something that Arnold Schwarzenegger got replaced by another actor on. I also looked into the Predator movies, but there was something that he was replaced by another actor on because he was making another movie at the time that they planned to film the sequel to the movie that he was in. And I was going, was it Terminator? Was it RoboCop? Which it turns out he's not even in. Was it Predator? And then my older son and I were talking about this, and I was like, so I had a thought that, like, when he said that he once replaced Arnold Schwarzenegger in a movie, perhaps he didn't mean that he took over the acting role for him. Like, wasn't he a defective Terminator or considered to be a defective Terminator? So they made another Terminator or they hired another Terminator, whatever it is they do with the Terminators, to replace him, which they did send the other person to try to protect Sarah on at least one episode, which I think might have been played for the person that I now know that he is. My thoughts, I think I mentioned on my video 4, episode 2 about Baby. My other thoughts, which partly had to do with him sounding like he had an accent when he first started talking, even though they were disguising his voice, and then later not sounding like he had one, were Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren, who are both, and Jason Statham, I briefly considered, but I was like, I'm pretty sure he hasn't replaced Arnold Schwarzenegger on anything. But I was like, they have accents, they can act in stuff and sound like they're from the middle of America, from from California or wherever. They don't always, their accent isn't always showing. So I was considering them. So yeah, I was talking to my son about the whole Terminator thing, and maybe he didn't actually get replaced in the acting role itself. And like we talked about this off and on for a while, and he was talking like he wasn't even in RoboCop, Mom. Like this other guy was in RoboCop, and I'm trying to think of who the guy was, which didn't turn out to be really anyone that either of us even really know who is. But all of a sudden I went, oh, I had an epiphany. I was like, I know what it is. I know what it is. Oh my God, I know what it is. And I'm like Googling, and I was like, that's it. It's Kindergarten Cop. Arnold Schwarzenegger was in Kindergarten Cop. If you haven't seen it, it's a funny movie. You should really watch it. Whenever they went to make Kindergarten Cop 2, he was busy making one of the Terminator movies. I'm pretty sure that it was. So he was not available to make Kindergarten 2. So he recommended an actor to replace him for Kindergarten Cop 2, which was Dolph Lundgren. So I'm going to hit the buzzer thingy. I don't want him to be unmasked. I kind of now want him to win because he's so awesome of an actor. But I'm 100% certain now that Baby is Dolph Lundgren. And since I decided to talk about that on this video is going to be longer than my usual Masked Singer ones. But I was just like, oh my God, I know what the movie is. And like, you know how it is sometimes when you try to think of something, it's impossible for you to think of it. And then you start thinking about other things and aren't trying to think about the thing anymore. Like we were trying to think of who played for RoboCop, right? Instead of a movie that someone might have replaced Arnold Schwarzenegger in. And all of a sudden my brain just went, oh my gosh, it's Kindergarten Cop 2. He could not do Kindergarten Cop 2. So I am 100% certain Baby is Dolph Lundgren. You can quote me on that. Assuming anyone decides to watch this. So now I'm going to talk about who was revealed and who they turned out to be. So if you have not seen it and don't want to know that information, subscribe to my channel, hit like, leave any comments you want, and then stop watching because I'm going to tell you now who was revealed and who they were. The person that was revealed is someone that I know. I know their career. I know what they do. I know the people they perform with, the style of music that they do. I apparently did not realize that he was as talented as he is. So I've already given away that it's a guy, and there are only 3 guys. Well, 4, I guess, if you count Banana. But anyway, so the character that was revealed was Dalmatian. Yeah, I know. His outfit was really rocking. Really cool outfit. They all were so good, though. And Nick mentioned at the first, he said, I've been told that if you think Group A is good, wait until you hear Group B. So I still think Bull from Group A is probably better, which is actually the other note that I made, but I'm not going to talk about that right now. I'm going to talk about it the next time they're on because hopefully some more clues on him will help me decide whether I'm right or not. But I am thinking Group B will be performing next, but I don't know. And I still wonder, like, do they only have one more wild card that's going to take the place of somebody else? Is that why they didn't go ahead and send 2 people home from Group B, or like they only did that on the first one because it was the premiere episode? Like, I don't know. Anyway, so Dalmatian turned out to be Tyga. That's right. Rapper extraordinaire Tyga. And as I said, I have not, that I know of, really listened to any of his music. I might have on occasion because I do listen to Pandora and I listen to this chick over here that plays music. I don't have unlimited or premium or anything like that anymore. So I get to listen to specifically what I want to. When I tell her to play my theme song, she plays Rhinestone Cowboy by Glenn Campbell, which I'm fine with. But anyway, I'm getting off track. I know that I have heard some of his music is what I'm trying to say, but I might not have necessarily known it was him. And I clearly did not realize that he was as talented as he is, because that last part there where he was actually singing, I thought he only rapped. I didn't realize that he sang. And when Nick asked him what made him want to do this, what made him put on this costume, he was like, Wayne. I saw Wayne do it. I had to do it, Lil Wayne. They're buddies, so that's why he decided to be on. And Nick knew who he was because shortly after he came out on stage, he kind of booty bumped him. And Nick's like, I know who this is. It's so funny to me that stuff like that happens a lot on there. And he's like, I know who this person is. But anyway, hopefully some of y'all watch this later. And please subscribe to my channel and share my videos with your friends and such. I was looking at my analytics the other day and discovered that none of my subscribers had watched any of my videos in the last 28 days. And I do have, I think, 4 new subscribers in the last 28 days, so that's pretty awesome. But I am going to try, I I probably won't do another video tomorrow or the next day. I'll probably wait until Monday to do it. But I didn't look today into stuff about the Gabby Petito case and the Brian Laundrie stuff. So I don't really know right now what's going on with that. I feel like they probably have not found him yet. And I feel like possibly he may go into hiding for like a month and a half, maybe even 2 months, and then his conscience might get the better of him, and he may just end up turning himself in. I think that's a possibility, especially if he did really truly love her. But I'm getting off topic again. But I'm going to try to do another video on that Monday. If there's something else that you would like me to do a video about, let me know. I still need to go through the videos that I already have, and also need to edit my about thing and put on there that I have videos on there about my pets and some of the other stuff that I have on. But yes, if there's something specific you would like me to do a video about, let me know. And if I can, I will try to do one about it. I don't have a vehicle right now, and I am not working. I'm only babysitting my grandson, so I have no income. So there are some things that it's like, if you want me to travel or to someplace and do a video, I probably won't be able to do that. But anyway, keep watching my videos. Keep watching The Masked Singer. Let me know what you think about it if you do watch it. And let me know what you think about my thoughts on who the characters are and who you think they might possibly be and why you think that. If you think I'm right, if you think I'm wrong. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and sign off for now. So everyone have a great whatever time of night or day it is in your part of the world. Stay positive and stay safe.